be on. Let's see, can I flip it back? All right, that's the best that I can do for YouTube. I got a bad angle here, so um, yeah. So what we teach you how to do is we teach you how to build your personal credit, um, and there's ways to do that because you're gonna need to PG your business. And with your business, we teach you how to add value to that business, whether that be through purchasing debt, a franchise, based off of leveraging your personal credit. And this is for people that don't have anything. You don't have any credit or you got bad credit. You got to start from zero. If you're not a trust fund baby, you're going to start from your credit, period, point blank. And a lot of us don't understand how to leverage that credit and how to liquidate and create a system to where you're bouncing that money back and forth into your personal credit until you build something. I personally like using debt, and it's all about how you list it on your books. A lot of people will put down that it's that I purchased debt and not that it's accounts receivable. To shorten it up, when you list it as accounts receivable, that changes the whole game as far as your business. And you can do this just with the trust as well. You don't have to have a business and a trust. You can just have your personal and your trust. The reason why we have you get the trust is it changes your tax structure. So when you get a trust, you fall under different tax laws, which allows you to write off more and get tax credits. So, for instance, as an example, exactly, own nothing, control everything, but nobody ever tells you how to do it. So that's what we're teaching. When you get all of that stuff up under your trust, you have like a house appraisal. Well, you can appraise your business the same way as you do a house. Now, all of that debt or value that I have, some people have businesses already that are currently running. When you put it under the trust and you get your books right, all of that stuff becomes a write-off. Remember, you have beneficiaries in the trust. So now, when you go buy your kids' clothes, when you go buy your kids, when you go get gas and groceries, and your light bill, and all of that stuff is under your trust. Now you're writing off all of that money. It takes a while to build it up to where it gets large enough, but you're able to create write-offs so that that money you're getting credit for in a different way. This is what the rich people do. Um, this is how the wealthy operate. I've been a notary and working with attorneys for over 20 years. I've been in the room. I've been in Merrill Lynch meetings. I've been in all the stuff you guys talk about where all the private stuff's going on. And I'm telling you, this is how they operate. And I've been fortunate enough to have people sit me down at being young and being in that environment. Some people took me under their wing and taught me a lot about this stuff. What we're having a problem with, and I know I get a ton of calls about this, is the birth certificate and the secure party credit process. So I kind of wanted to roll straight into there as a caveat. Um, I think the civics lesson behind it is excellent. Learning how to operate in court, learning civil procedure, learning about court. But the only problem is with all of that that I found, and I'm gonna teach you what led me to what a QSIP number is and how we got this whole process together, is your birth certificate is just a certificate of title. Okay. If you've been studying any of the secure party creditor process, then you understand about the bankruptcy, what happened in 1933, HJR 192, all of that stuff, right? But the problem is, this is a corporation that I'm sure is in a trust. You are a beneficiary. You have your straw man, okay? So your straw man is given to you by the United States, quote unquote, corporation. You are just a beneficiary. You have no control over what they do with that. You can't control something of someone else's trust. I can't go into your trust. You can't go into mine. So you can't go into the United States trust. That birth certificate is just a certificate of title. All of the stuff about that QSIP number that they got that you can look up on Fidelity, thumbs up. It's there, but it's in a pool. It's not just, you're not worth that amount. You'll never get the instrument. They're not going to give you the instrument that's backed by. So that means your birth certificate is worthless. It has no face value. If you go look up what the elements of a promissory note or a bond is, it doesn't have any face value. There's no dollar amount on there. In order for that to be worth something, you would have to have a monetary value or get a hold of that note or whatever it is that they're saying that's valuing that certificate of title. So what we did is we start studying about the QSIP and actually put an instrument together ourselves and got it on the market with our own QSIP number valued by what value we had backed by a business. That's when the light went off. So a lot of people are talking about a QSIP number and they're running around talking about these court cases and everything. You need to create value, and you can create your own promissory note backed by that value. It's very simple. It's not a hard concept at all, but your credit does have to be good, and you have to have a business or a trust. The Trinity program, we teach personal credit, a business, and a trust, and we'll show you how to actually purchase debt. And we have all of that stuff available inside of our mentorship program. Plus, we have an ebook called Understanding the QSIP that explains the process as well. Hopefully, those links are up there. But I get a ton of calls about the secure party process. And correct me if I'm wrong, and if anybody in here, please put it in the comments, because I'm a student as well and I don't know everything about it. I have gotten some of the stuff to work, and I can tell you why, and I can tell you why it doesn't work now. One, a lot of it you got through just because of sheer loopholes. If you did get through and get anything to work, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, was just pure volume of people sending in A for V's and promissory notes. And a lot of people got in trouble and went to jail for that stuff. And that's why I'm kind of coming out and speaking on it. Because, it could be embarrassing for people to come out and explain, that they wouldn't have had to go sit down for a while. I haven't personally had anybody tell me that it's worked for them. Um, I would suggest that you leave these IRS forms alone if you don't know what you're doing. And if you look on the back of, if you look on the IRS website or publication 1212, start looking and stop taking people's word for what this stuff is and go look yourself. So if you look at what a 1099A and a 1099C are, it's not to discharge debt. That's not what they're using it for. Another big one to misspell is a UCC. That doesn't do anything. Just filing a UCC itself, it does nothing. It's just a notice. And a lot of this stuff has become very popular, and it gets confusing how people are using it. What an actual QSIP number does for you to finish up on the process, after you get everything correctly put in your trust, you can take those shares of your business or shares of your trust and or any entity that you have. And then that's when you file the UCC and do your promissory note. Now that promissory note is actually backed by something of value because you've had your company appraised. So as an example, say you paid $30,000 and got $1 million worth of receivables. Well, after you go pay to have your company evaluated and you get your CPA to go on ahead and do your books correctly and stamp your financials, you can now write up a promissory note backed by shares of your company or your trust to go into the bank and get funding. But you actually have to have something like showing income coming into your bank account, and we show you how to do that. That's why I suggest starting the debt collection company or things of that nature. But once you do that, then on that promissory note, that's when you get the medallion stamp and you go get your QSIP number. Now you have a QSIP number, not the United States government out of their trust, not someone else out of their trust. You can't do nothing with that, but you can do something with the one that you have. And now you can go get a secure loan backed by those shares, just like if you went and took $1,000 for a secured credit card and put it inside of a trust. The big thing that I'm pushing, I wasted a lot of time studying this stuff. and it's never ends. Nobody will ever. It'll always be another new process, which is really an old process, and people will swear by this stuff. And like I said, I no knock. I don't. Maybe there's somebody that has done it and can show success, but I mean, after 20 years of studying this stuff, there should be some multimillionaires out here, and they're not. And we need to not get more people in trouble, and get this part done first, so at least you have the money to go pursue that route if you want to. If you want to go poke your head in the bee's nest, all for it. But what I'm saying is get the money first and get your situation set up, and you'll find out what they're actually doing. You can do the same thing that they're doing with your trust, and that's how you take control of your energy and your private equity that you built. Everything that they're saying that they're supposed to do, they've done it. They're doing it. I mean, you guys need to go read the Jobs Act, and you kind of got to the birth certificate thing. You got to kind of boot that out the window. I'm gonna tell you, if anybody has any process and they're saying it's backed by their birth certificate, it's not gonna work. I 100% guarantee it. Um, that just because it has no foundation, and I do think that there's an account somewhere. I do think that there is something there, but you'll never see it. They don't even have to show it to you. I could set up a trust for you in your name for your benefit, right? And I don't have to tell you that you're a beneficiary. Go look up the trust law. Go Google the stuff I'm saying. Don't just don't believe me. Go check it out because I did, and I realized that a lot of people are just parroting information and creating these elaborate processes and stuff, and it doesn't work. I'm sorry. It's kind of a it's kind of a Debbie Downer, but I'd rather have somebody come out and say it, than to be on here telling you guys something and making up packages to sell you that I know doesn't work. The people who are selling you these packages haven't got it to work. Ask them. I guarantee. So we got actual proof of what we're talking about works, that you can go look up that's on the market. Um, I'm not sure how to screen share on here just yet, and I'll get better. Excuse me, this is my first time on Facebook Live, so I wish I could see how to screen share with you because I'll actually show you an instrument right now. If not, I will make a quick YouTube video tonight just to put it up for the people that are in here, and you can go look on the QSIP website if you have access to the market, and you can go check that QSIP number out that we made. It's not the government's. We didn't get it from a registered mail number. That doesn't work. We didn't get it from a ticket. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. If it's not yours, you can't do it. Just point blank, period. But what you can do is what they're doing under equal protection of the law. So a lot of you guys out here that are in these groups and you're purchasing this stuff and you're becoming a secure party, none of that matters, man. You can add some of that stuff on, if you want to. Um, the only thing that's really that I can say that I've used that's worked is the do not detain list. But there's even a better way of doing that. You can actually just go get your diplomatic immunity if you know about this stuff and go on and get an offshore corp. You're going to spend about the same amount of money that you probably dumped thousands of dollars into chasing this thing that's not real. Um, uh, there is a purpose for UCC, and that strictly comes in after you have some actual stuff for value, that you can put up. But the stuff on your UCC is just a notice. There has to be a contract or something of value backing it. You're just basically making a public notice, which you really don't want to do if you want to maintain some privacy. But you do have to do if you're going to be going in and um, getting a loan using your shares of your company. So I just kind of want to dispel those rumors about um, the government paying your bills. OID. I mean, I can go down the list. I've studied, Roger Elvick, Gene Keating, Creditors in Commerce, Gordon Hall, uh, Jack Smith, Brandon. Uh, who do you got? I've read it all. I've studied it all. I went to the seminars. I've used it. I've taken this stuff into court. Yeah, man. Go read the case summaries and what the courts are saying on some of this stuff. I have a deposition company. I get to see court stuff all day, every day. We have a court reporting service, and that's what people don't understand. That's why they're not they're looking at you like you're crazy, because it's not true. It, when you come in there with that stuff, they know for a fact that you don't know what you're doing. Point blank. Period. Some of the civic stuff and some of the tricks and loopholes do work, but you got a whole nother part of this, the civil procedures and your local court rules and how all of that translates. Man, it's about a 5 or 6 year study just to get to this point, and that's with you taking out of the birth certificate stuff out. You have to take that all the way out. If somebody says something about your birth certificate having some value, I'm sorry to tell you, and I promise I'm saving you about 5 years and about $30,000 worth of money. Just take that money and go do your credit, or come join our program and learn our system and what we have proof of that actually does work. And then you can do that stuff. We can show you how to get on the do not detain list if you wish. We'll show you about all of how to operate a trust. It doesn't have to be the foreign 98 trust. It can be any trust. All trusts are private. It's private until you put it in a jurisdiction, like going to the Sacramento County Recorder or the LA County Recorder or the New York County Recorder or Clerk of Court, and putting it on the record. Outside of that, all trusts are private. Okay, let's get that out of the way so we can get you off the 98 number and all of this different stuff and all of this jurisdiction stuff. You're a United States citizen, however you want to cut it, whether you like it or not. You're a United States citizen. Now, all this non citizen, national, and everything, none of that's working. It doesn't mean anything at all. So, how you are going to be private and what you can do, pardon me for blowing my nose. If you understand how offshore corporations and dual citizenship works, now you got something. Now you're more along the lines. And birth certificate authentication, I do like that. And I'll explain and dispel some mystery behind that. You're getting your birth certificate authenticated. If you look down there on the bottom, I think it's bottom left or bottom right. I have mine somewhere. My birth certificate's been authenticated for like 10 years. So it's a set of little laws out there. And it says, they always say, oh, well, it's backed by the full faith and credit of the United States. Yeah, what the United States is saying is if you go overseas to this other trust or government or country, you get it, and you damage something, that we're going to take care of that because that was one of our citizens. And they'll do the same thing vice versa. That's the only reason that you need a passport and a birth certificate when you go overseas. That's it. You can't use that here. Think about it. How can you be foreign and domestic at the same time? Let me know. It's back when you're outside of the United States. You can't use that here. And I get the theory of them saying, oh, get a 98 number. No, you actually have to go over there and get the dual citizenship, and you have to come back and be that other person here. You don't want to be like, I don't want to be Tobias Bay here. I want to be Tobias Bay in England. When I get to England, I want to be Tobias L. But that takes a lot to set up. You see what I'm saying? That's why we're getting everybody started with this part. We done figured all that whole road out. So a lot of the stuff that's coming out is just a rerun of stuff that didn't work from 20 years ago, and they're putting new fancy titles on it. I promise you, if you mess with this stuff and you don't know what you're doing, one, and if you're saying something that's backed by the birth certificate and you're using these IRS forms, they just haven't got to you, and you're lucky if they don't. but they're gonna come pick people up this time. They hired over 100 and something thousand new IRS CID officers. They are ready for this time. Every time there's a recession, this stuff gets popular because people run out of money, and the real thing is that's what it's really all about. I mean, we can say it's fancy, and I know we all have people who have good hearts and good intentions on what we're going to do with a lot of this stuff, and we want to help humanity. But let's boil down to it, man. You're just trying to get some money. We're trying to teach you how to get to the money, then go to experiment with all of that different stuff without losing your house and your car and your family, and just destroying everything. And I've been there. I've lost a house messing with this stuff, not directly, and I had some success too with this stuff, with my particular house, and I can tell you guys how to slow everything down. And some of you guys that are having success, every 6 months they're just gonna keep coming. It's gonna be another servicer. You have to go through the same thing. Another servicer, same thing. Now, what the strategy is that's just a stall tactic for you to file a quiet title if you know what you're doing. And I will talk a little bit more about that in private. I can't say too much out here because people are paying, but I do just want to kind of let you know that I have a knowledge base about all of this stuff, and that's why we came up with this Trinity system. And I figure that it's something very simple that people need to understand. Just fix your credit. They call it discharging debt. These are all fancy catchwords. Discharging debt is nothing but credit restoration or credit repair. Man, fix your credit and learn how to use it and maintain it. Learn how to leverage your credit and do what wealthy people do. This is why Donald Trump is not paying taxes. Elon Musk doesn't pay taxes. He's not. He's cutting himself a check. He controls the company. He doesn't own it. They say, oh, Elon Musk owns Tesla. No, he does not own Tesla. I bet you his trust owns Tesla, but they're saying it's a loose terms that people are using for this stuff. Donald Trump doesn't have anything in his name. Otherwise, he would be in jail. They just brought him in with all the cameras and stuff. Go look at the paperwork. They're suing his businesses and his trust. It's not him personally. And if he has everything insured, even if they do sue him and he loses everything, if you have all of this stuff insured properly, like the assets in your trust, then you pop your insurance policy. How do you think they're getting stuff back up so quick? So it's a lot of misnomers out there that I want to clear up a little bit and kind of get you guys to understand that, ask these people that you're purchasing this stuff for proof. And if you see it go sideways from there, then you know. I mean, it's something that, and I know it's hard to let go, that you've done all of this study, you've done all of this stuff, and it's not true. And the people that are teaching you know that it's not true because they haven't done it. Right, Mr. Houston. Learn how to establish personal credit to PG business credit. And that, yes, that is exactly what it is. And learning how to take that company and add value to it. A lot of you guys already have businesses and stuff. You're just not operating right. I would encourage everybody to at least, every time you ask for proof, people flip out. There you go, Rosado. They don't have any proof. That's what it is. They're getting their packages off. And, at the end of the day, they're either going to leave or it's going to be your fault. You didn't do something. It's something you didn't read. But if you ask them for proof, they're not going to have it. So it's a lot of this stuff that you guys are going to have to start waking up to. For me, this is my third time seeing this come around, and I've tried it all, and it's the same stuff again. And where they get you is the stories and the civic lessons. I am not knocking any of the history at all. All of that's good stuff. Learning about the Constitution, how the country was put together, learning about laws and court cases and Jekyll Island and 1930. All of that is good. But what works now? I got to feed my family now. What out of this information is tangible that I can use? And that's why I'm so happy we learned about what a QSIP number is. And this is $50,000 worth of education that we're coming out and getting to you guys for a decent price. And a lot of years of me going in there and our associates and stuff, and putting ourselves on the line, man. um, One thing that I would like for people to do is just slow down and think about it logically for a second. That if there was some sort of secure party creditor out there that was getting all of their bills paid, why would they need to charge you anything for a package? I mean, they can just simply come write your house off, right? Get everybody in line and write everything off. How come they're not doing that? You know what I'm saying? Some of this stuff is snakeman's oil, and you guys got to realize that what we're actually teaching you is how a real QSIP number and how trust in business is really done, and you can maintain your privacy that way and get the same effect. Um, it's just, will your method work in the Canadians? Yes, everybody has the same system. If it has a central bank, it'll work. Might have to look up the laws, and everything may be a little bit different in your country. But let me ask you this, Henry: do you guys have trust? Get it all out of the name. Yes. Use of Social Security and move into an entity that is removed from the system to hold you as a grantor. Kind of, Mr. Houston, but that's kind of going into some of the other stuff. You don't got It's not even that difficult. Just use the only thing you should be using your social for is to acquire assets using your credit. All of this grantor and entity stuff, you don't hold anything in your name, and everything that you have. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Um, Having a rough day. All the stuff that and that's hard. It's gonna be hard to let go. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be hard to let go some of the rhetoric. What kind of trust does one need? Common law. You can do a regular living trust. It's all private. It's all private. You don't need anything special. You can make it special, but all of this foreign grantor trust and express trust and all of this different stuff, it's just a trust. You can pick the form of your trust. It doesn't matter. As long as you don't go tell everybody you got to trust, depending on what you're doing, sometimes you might want to trust that operates in the public. You might want to use a special purpose entity. Me and you might want to go, I don't know, buy an apartment complex. And I have my trust and you have your trust, and we use a special purpose entity. Are we able to cash in on those bonds created for us under our social security number? No, it's not yours. Create your own bonds. You must have missed it, Tony T. You must have missed what I was talking about earlier. If you mess with those social security bonds, I guarantee you're gonna get yourself in trouble. Create your own bonds. I just explained to everybody how to do it. Get your personal credit together. Get your business credit together. Put it in a trust. Go get your business and your trust valuated by a licensed CPA. Have them stamp your financials and take those shares of your company and put together a promissory note and go get a QSIP number for it and insure it. I just told you how to do it in 5 seconds. I guarantee you guys are going to make it more difficult than that because you're going to mix in this other stuff. I just told you exactly how to do it and be private. Hand on my heart, it's that simple. All this other stuff, yes, you need an EIN though. If you want to maintain more privacy, go hire an attorney and have them get an EIN for you. One thing they do talk about, and I think Yusuf talks about this, I think Yusuf L, minimum contacts. He's right on that. The less amount that you use that social, the better. You have to start out with that if you don't have any money. That's just what it is. And you've been in it for a while. You've been using it up to this point. Only thing that you should have on there is credit. And sometimes it's good to have a social security number. You never know. Jack Smith says something that was real good about teaching civics and learning how to wear different hats. If somebody knocks on the door and it's the police and they're looking for Tobias Bay, I don't know who that is. Somebody knocks on the door and says, "Hey, Tobias Bay, you won $1 million with the lottery." That's me. Let me fork it on over. So you got to know when to use this stuff, and and how to be properly set up to move privately. What I just explained to you is private banking. It doesn't require a bunch of UCCs and birth certificates and all of this fancy word talk that they got around it and these packages and stuff. It doesn't require that. They're doing private banking every day. And Mr. Houston saying he's spot on. I've done it many times. Yes. You do it every day in business. Bid bonds, construction bonds, the 9091 and all of that, that has a use. That's for construction. Those are different. Uh, I'll put send me an email. Let me put my email in there. I thought I put the links up. I'll put my email inside of the chat. There should be a link for using a CPS passes on liability as well. I'm not sure what a CPS is. And then I'll put my number in here. Give me 1 second. I'll put the links in the I'll put them up. Here's the link for the ebook. In 1 second. I mean, if you want to do it yourself, you can get the ebook, or we can help you. It's up to you. But here's the link for the understanding the QSIP. And you're going to have to let the birth certificate stuff go. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're not going to understand what it is. Straight up. And that's no pun intended to anybody or information. The account is restricted for 23 hours. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. They zap me. They won't even let me get on and talk about this. Get out of here. Can you guys still hear me on Facebook Live? Yes, Mr. Houston, a CPA. Okay. Well, they restricted the account, so I don't know what that means. Whatever they said, I can't do. So let me get the link for the mentorship up. But if you guys got any questions, that's pretty much the extent of my rant. Um, and with our program, what I do is we do a video. They're popping up with all kind of restrictions. I don't know what I'm saying or doing that's so bad. um, um, in these SPC processes, they teach to create $100 million bond and send it to the Treasury and discharge off the bond. What's your position on that? What is the bond backed by? That's the problem. What value does that $100 million bond have? That's what I want to know. If you could show me that you got $100 million worth in asset to back the bond, then it's going to work. If it's based on the birth certificate, you're sunk. Probably because you put emails and numbers. Oh, okay. Thanks, Willie. That's cheesy if you can't do that. Um, they might have blocked the links. I'll try to put it in the chat. Get a pen out. I give you my number. Our YouTube is Noematic Elevation. If you type that in, Nomatic Elevation Group, you put that in YouTube, you can look us up. I'll tell you my number right here is 916 800-6110. If they're not letting me post it in the chat, you guys can give me a call. I do charge for consultations, but I'll throw you a quick freebie if you tell me you were on this live tonight. I'll throw you a 15 or 20-minute freebie and you can get your private questions out. Um, I was on Clubhouse quite frequently, but they changed the format, so I got to figure out somewhere else where I can go live at. It might be here unless they're not going to let me operate. I'll find somewhere else. Deborah White, there's no such thing as an SPC. Either you're a secure party or you're the creditor. Yes. Either you're a secure party or you're not. A secure party is synonymous with the creditor. Close, Mr. Houston. Noematic elevation. You got the nomadic part, but it's elevation. But see, that's the problem. Like being a secure party is nothing but being a note holder. So when you create your actual instrument, like in our system that we teach you, and you create your promissory note, now you're the note holder. Now you're the holder in due course. Now all of that UCC law and really it's just your local commercial laws that breaks all down into that. On the UCC one financing statement, it literally says debtor name and secure party creditor name along with collateral where you're claiming everything down to DNA, retina scans, and everything. Yeah, but that's just a notice, but it does. It lists you as a debtor, but you have to have something of value backing that. How does all that stuff have a value? Uh, TV plugs for free. I'm gonna write that down. I appreciate your time coming over here. I've been seeing your recent posts. Yes, please follow us. And if I don't know something, I'm gonna tell you. If you came, anybody that's went to any of our seminars, I actually put up my taxes. I show people my real taxes. I show them my real instruments. Like I'm not just saying this and then telling you all of this stuff and you don't never see anything. I can't make money for you. I can't get up and go hustle your business for you. That's on you. But I can set your structure up. So reading the Understanding QSIP book will help me understand the true process. I've been searching UCC and all of this stuff. Say it don't work. You say it doesn't work. Yeah, it'll help you understand our system if you want to understand how to create your own instrument and QSIP number and how to do the business correctly. The UCC is just a notice. It's just a financing notice. There are ways to use that with your business credit and stuff like that. But as far as you putting like $100, $1 million bond on file and it not being backed by nothing, because I'll tell you, when you go to court, put up the UCC finance statement, right? Say you get into something, and you say, "Oh, it's backed by my bond. My bond's gonna back it up." Well, cool. Is that bond insured? You know how much it costs to insure $100 million? If you can get it insured, I'll give you a quick one. If you can get it insured by an insurance company, you have something of value because they're only going to give you insurance on something of value. Yes, you can also read the UCC directly. The long form birth certificate into the Treasury Department to be stamped as paper value. No, that doesn't work, brother. Sorry, Sean. You gotta. I just went over a whole thing on the birth certificate. The birth certificate doesn't have any face value. Even if there is an instrument, it's in their side of their trust, and they don't have to give it to you. You're just a beneficiary. They don't have to do anything. That's their stuff. You got to create your own. Can you use your process by setting up a simple trust with just my own name? Yeah, if you want to, you can have your trust name anything. I would name it something else that people can't search, but you can do that. The sending of your birth certificate is the initial process. Nope. Your birth certificate doesn't have any value. It's just a certificate of title. Uh, Birth certificate's not backed by anything, Sean. At least nothing you can get your hands on to prove it. What's your view on CP and numbers? I think CPN numbers are great if you know how to use them and you're not going to pump and dump them. You're still responsible for the debt. As a matter of fact, you get a CPN number, you're good until you default on something, then they'll say that you're committing fraud. So it's a gray area, but I think they're great if you know how to use them. Back to insurance. There you got it, Mr. Houston. Everything has to be insured. When you're bringing your private money to the public, you have to insure it in case you damage somebody. Don't they do that? Doesn't the government have insurance on everything they do? Social Security insurance? Aren't they secured? Not yours. Look on the flip over in the back of your Social Security card. It's not yours. That's their insurance card that they have for you. Will I be able to put my car and house under my trust? Yes, and you should. You should have your car and house under a trust or an entity like a LLC. What's your take on billing statement and remittance method? It's not backed by anything, Mr. Thomas, Willie. You got to have something that's got to be backed by something. You can, in theory, let me tell you how I learned how to use it and what's gotten twisted. All you're saying is I can write it. I can say this lemon squeeze right here, right? I can say this is worth $1 million and give it to you. Put on UCC, do all that, right? If you don't send it back to me, then without being changed or altered, then you owe me $1 million. That's the theory that people were using behind that. That was the whole thing. So it's kind of more of a loophole and a trick to discharge your debt. But if you notice, you're still using the FDCPA and the consumer laws, the FCRA, the TCPA. That's really what you're using. That was just a loophole people were doing, and they were making it fancy with the A for V stuff and accepting it for value. People got all the way into that. That wasn't a theory. That was just you sending them something of value. Um, just a little court trick for later on when you get into court, and it doesn't work anymore. They tighten that up. What's your take on a? I did that one already. And will that take away from my liability? Yes, that'll take away your personal liability, but just somebody's liable. It's just not you, and that's how you want it to be. You want the entity to be liable. You should never be in court yourself for anything. If you're in court by it for yourself, then you've done something wrong. You have something in your name. Recommendation on insurance companies: any insurance company that'll deal with insuring your note, they all do it. Geico, Nationwide, Fidelity, WFG, they all do it. And exactly again, it's back to the insurance. Yes, surety. Tendering payment. Yes, Al. Tendering payment. That's all you're doing. That revolves around offer and acceptance. Acceptable. I'm assuming you mean acceptance. Part of that element within the contract. Yes. So get with a security transfer agent. Not sure who that is or what that is. If you can expound on what that is and what you're talking about. Hiscox, yes. Hiscox Business Insurance is good. Yep. Mass Insurance is good. So yeah, that's we're coming up close to 7. So if you guys got any more questions, then let them roll. But feel free to call me. If I don't call you, I'll get back with you within 24 hours. Just um, let me know that you were in this Facebook Live, and I'll try and carve out some time and give you guys a 20 or 30 minutes, and we can talk about it more in detail because I know everybody has their own separate things that they're working on. Do you know a lot about the mortgage process? Yes. That's actually how I ran into this information, was fighting a foreclosure. What would you like to know, Mr. Cross, about the mortgage process? I'm going to send you a friend request. I would love to connect. Yep, no problem, Mr. Houston. I must have missed what Michael's talking about. Mr. Thomas, I didn't catch it. Let me go back up. No, I ended up losing my foreclosure process after my fifth time going in there. I ended up in on unlawful detainer court, and I should have been downtown in a different court. So they got me on a procedural thing. Um, and then my wife was pregnant, so I could have went moved right back in the house, but um, found out she was pregnant, and that my kid's life wasn't worth some a house. So I had to let it go at that point. Absolutely, you can call me tomorrow. If I don't answer, just leave me a message because I'm under the weather, so I'm gonna be up and down. But yeah, I ended up. It was a good fight. I ran through like 5 or 6 servicers, and I was getting close to the point to where I can file a quiet title. I learned a lot during that process. That's why I'm telling a lot of you guys it's an easier way. What I should have did is just put the house in a trust and got insurance on it, and I shouldn't have bought it in my Social Security number in the first place. I should have bought it in an entity. Should have bought it in a trust or a business and insured it. So if I lost it, the insurance would have paid off the house or paid me. Either way, I wouldn't have lost anything. Maybe I lost the house, but I got the money, or got the money and lost the house. Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, 5 more minutes. If you guys got any more questions before I go. Yes, Mr. Houston. You can drag that thing along to a quiet title and you know how to file it. You got yourself something. But for anybody who was just paying attention, I just told you how to beat a foreclosure for free. I don't know if this thing replays, but I would definitely go back and listen. They wouldn't let me put my number in here, but if you got a pen, I'll tell you my number right now. It's 916-800-6110. And if you go and put in Noematic Elevation, Noe as in Edward, Matic, Matic, Elevation Group in the YouTube, you can go and look at any one of those videos and go to our site. You can also put in Noematic Elevation on Instagram or TikTok. Um, I'm looking for an approximate time frame using your program to be able to use the credit for my trust in everyday dealings. That depends. The more money you put into it, the faster it moves. There's really no time frame. In 6 months to a year, you'll have something going. But if my budget is $50,000 to start a trust, and I got business coming in, and yours is $100 a month, you're obviously going to move slower. So, but you can start building credit and all of that stuff on your trust from day one. It's just changing the way that you spend your money. There's a lot of things that you go buy, that you go buy, that you can buy under your trust or your business, that you can get actual credit for. and get that to hit your business credit or your trust credit, and start building from there. It's just like being 18 and having no credit. Where will you post the promissory note, and how much was that? Let me see if it'll let me share. The actual offering, the actual offering that we did was for 100 million, um, and it's on the market. You can look at it, but I have to. I'm not too familiar with how to use this. If I can screen share, I'll show you right now. If not, I'll make a quick video with just the QSIP number, and so you guys can see the first page of the offering. Yeah, but I don't want to mess anything up, so we're at the end. Um, can you put a pension in a trust? Yes, you can write a contract up with your. Oh, I already answered that. How much the promissory note? Yeah, the whole offering was for 100 million, and then we had several promissory notes for investors. And I'll try and put a YouTube video up of that. I have one somewhere, but I put a more recent one up. I'm definitely picking up what you're putting down. All right, you get it. How do you spell it? Noematic Elevation Group. Is that what you're asking about? It's Noematic as in cat, Elevation Group. Can I move my 401k into my trust, and can it be? First of all, you need to get out of your 401k trust if you're in that 401k. Please, you definitely call me, Willie. We can get you out of that. You got to get into another vehicle, brother. But yeah, you can. And can it be made like a whole life insurance? You're talking about what is it, IUL? Yep, we do those. Yep, you can put your pension into a trust. Just got to do a contract with your trust. If you create your own promissory note, medallion stamp, and endorse it, let's say the Navy Fed, can you pay for the car? What is it? What is your promissory note backed by? It has to be backed by something. Is it true that the trust gets to write off everything for taking care of the beneficiary? Yes. That is the whole point. That's right. That's how you save your money, get to the money. And you guys got to get actual CPAs. You can't do your own bookkeeping on QuickBooks or any kind of these backdoor programs. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful for some of you guys to kind of understand what we're talking about, and just do some research on us. Go look. Very forthcoming. I don't have anything to hide. I'm doing pretty good. I just thought that I offer something that I would have wanted, seeing that this situation in the economy crashing is coming back again, and what helped me even after studying all of this stuff and what's real and what's not. So, so to utilize the 1099, I need a trust. If you're doing business right, you'll use the 1099 right. How they're teaching you guys to use the 1099. Um, no, you're not going to buy a house with a 1099. You might have got on a little bit late after I explained about the whole birth certificate process. But you can feel free to give me a call, and I can see, can I give you some understanding. Are you on here once per week? I could be. That's gonna be up to Maurice in Copenhagen. I don't mind getting on and talking. This is what I do. Very welcome, Mr. Houston. Thank you for showing up. I hope you got something out of it, of some value out of it. All right, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm gonna end the live now. Feel free to contact me. I gave you my number, and we can go on ahead and get on with your Sunday. It was a pleasure, and thanks for having me. I'll figure out how to end the live, but I will end it.